discuss our top story tonight. Viewers may get to see a second debate between Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. The vice president's campaign is proposing a rematch for next month, but the former president says that he is less inclined because he believes that he had a great night. The two are already sparred over several issues, including abortion.
You should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer the question? Would you
because
veto?
Under Roe v.
Answer the
Wade,
question, would you veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth.
Would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening.
Pro-life groups accuse Harris of dodging the question about late-term abortions. And we turn now to Marilyn Musgrave, Vice President for Government Affairs at the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America Group. Marilyn, great to be with you. Let's start off with that exchange that we just heard from last night's debate. Your thoughts on that, and do you think the Vice President skirted the question about putting restrictions on abortion?
Well, if Kamala Harris ever did a dodge, that was the dodge. She did not answer the question. And all through this campaign, you know, people should be asking her, honest reporters should be asking her, do you support any limits at all? Because in fact, we know that Kamala Harris does not. And when you think of her talking about restoring the protections of Roe v. Wade, which that phrase is absolutely upsetting to me, but that's what she said. When you think about her support for the Women's Health Protection Act, and if there ever was a bill that was misnamed, that's it. But the so-called Women's Health Protection Act goes even further than Roe and just gets rid of pro-life laws. You know, the states that have worked hard to protect babies, those laws would be overridden by what Kamala Harris wants to do at the federal level, abortion on demand for any reason at any time during the pregnancy. And Donald Trump was really right to push her. You know, what about abortion? 7th month, 8th month? And when Kamala Harris talks about, you know, there's no place where babies are born and then the woman wants an abortion. Well, as a matter of fact, over 30 states have laws that protect an infant that survives a failed abortion, but the other states do not. And Kamala Harris needs to be aware that, you know, we know that 270 babies have survived failed abortions, and the Abortion Survivors Network has been in contact with over 700 women whose children, babies, have survived failed abortions. So this does take place in our country.
Yeah, and former President Trump, Marilyn, was pressed on a few things, too. Was asked why voters should trust him on the issue of abortion, in part because of his reversing course on Florida's 6-week abortion ban. He didn't really seem to answer that question directly either. That said, do you think the former president's seemingly, you know, back and forth on that issue in Florida, should that give pro-lifers pause?
Well, we certainly want former President Trump, who was very pro-life during his term, to stand up for babies now. And when we look at his comments, we do see that he backed away from saying how he would vote on that terrible ballot initiative in Florida. And it was disappointing when President Trump said he didn't support the 6-week ban, because we applaud states, state legislatures, and governors that are taking action to protect babies, unborn babies in their states.
Well, Marilyn, we have to leave it right there. Thank you so much for weighing in. We really appreciate it. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you.